What's up, y'all? This is the Gospel according to Mark with a C. He is I, and I am he, just taking some time to tell you what's on my mind. Check it out. I just got home from work, and I'm torn down as usual. But I'm about to run back out because my son and his mom, my ex-wife, want to take me out to dinner. And that's just the way we rock, so I'm going to let them. Why not? So anyway, by the way, I want to say thank you, to the couple of guys, the couple of people out there who gave me a birthday shout out. That's decent, man. I appreciate that, man. You get me all choked up on camera. Thank you. Anyway, and also I want to say welcome to all of the new subscribers. Means a lot to me, man. You have never heard me on video say like, share, subscribe. Yet, here people are subscribing, and once again, that means a lot to me. Thank you so much. But anyway, I want to do this quick commentary on this story that I heard Stephanie talking about, and I also read about it last night. So I figured I'll chime in real quick before I leave. Okay, and the source that I am reading it from is arstechnica.com. I will leave the link in the comment section so you can check this bullshit out for yourself. Here we go. Mark Hamill on Skywalker Disagreements. Fear of starring in a new Star Wars film. Austin, Texas. Following the world premiere of The Director and the Jedi, a comprehensive 2-hour documentary about the making of the latest Star Wars film, South by Southwest Film Festival attendees got a Last Jedi double whammy. Now that's funny because they're saying the documentary is comprehensive in 2 hours. Okay, so the documentary is comprehensive, but the actual movie was all over the fucking place. How does that make sense? Maybe they should have put out the documentary before the movie. After the curtain raised at the Paramount Theater, director Rian Johnson, oh great, you fucking booger snot, and actor Mark Hamill took the stage for an impromptu Q&A. Hamill, unsurprisingly, opted for jokes and openness in his answers, and in particular, he offered his most robust comments yet about that spicy bit of news ahead of Episode 8's launch, that he didn't much care for how the character of Luke Skywalker had been written. The topic bubbled up with a question about Star Wars' mythical and heroic scope as a long-running series, and Hamill explained how he prepared for the role. When you get down to it, it's not Mark Hamill in a blockbuster film, it's Luke. I had to do a wild reimagining of the character. By wild reimagining, you must mean that they offered you some type of hallucinogenic drug or some shit that took you completely out of character. Mark Hamill, I'm so sorry. Like, hey, what happened between the last one and this one, where the most hopeful man in the galaxy becomes a cranky old suicidal man telling people to get off his lawn? Bravo, bravo, I couldn't have put it better myself. I think we all wondered that. All of us who have some sense, that is. Here I am going home again, he later added, but it was a house I didn't recognize at all. I know the feeling, Mark. I was in the theater the same way. I felt like I was like some senile old guy who walked into the wrong house, talking about, that's not my furniture, that's not my wife, that's not my dog. My dog is alive. Where am I? Oh my God. Another fan pressed Hamill about this and about the brief mentions of disagreements between Hamill and Johnson during the film's production, which he opened up about widely. It's not distaste at all, Hamill said, partially quoting the question. It just wasn't a Luke I understood. He described backstories that he had to invent for himself, including he had to actually invent backstories for himself. That's how fucking irresponsible Rian Johnson was. He couldn't even properly motivate his actors. Luke couldn't find his motivation. Mark Hamill couldn't find his motivation. He had to actually invent a backstory for himself. Where is it? He described backstories that he had to invent for himself, including how Luke, in mentoring Kylo Ren, picked the new Hitler to be the next hope, and how I justify cutting off my telepathic communication with my sister. you know, these are logical concerns, man. Like, how could nobody else be thinking about this? But Mark Hamill is thinking about it, of course, because, you know, he is Luke Skywalker, so you wouldn't have thought to ask him about things, right? Rian Johnson. He even had a conversation with Johnson about the fact that Episode 7 ended with Luke wearing Jedi robes. What do we say about that? To make sure there was a flow. Which is actually a very good concern. Why would Luke be wearing Jedi robes if he felt like it was time for the Jedi to die? Unless he just converted them into pajamas. Maybe that's what it was. He you know, is now using the Jedi robes as pajamas. That's probably what it was. In the context of how this has all been framed, you have to snap your head back and remember, wait. You know, in the context of how this has all been framed, you have to snap your neck back and remember that with every single movie with characters, it's always a dialogue between the director and the actors, Johnson added. That's a healthy thing. You always butt heads with actors. See, here's the problem, Rian Johnson. You Frankenstein's monster motherfucker you. Here's the problem. You have Mark Hamill, all right, who's been in the game for about 40 years, okay? And here you are, you know, just coming in out of nowhere. And if not for this man, you wouldn't be working. You wouldn't even have a job. So you think that you would look to him to kind of connect you with the character and the character's motivations. You know, you don't butt heads with somebody like that. You learn from somebody like that, I would think. All right, here we go. The same fan asked a follow-up question. How, Mr. Hamill, would you have written the plot if you could have? Ooh, pay attention, boys and girls. Johnson immediately interjected and drew a huge laugh from the audience. I want to hear this. What would you do, motherfucker? Let this sink in. Rian Johnson just addressed Mark Hamill as a motherfucker in front of a live audience of people who are excited about Star Wars. You just called Luke Skywalker Hamill a motherfucker to his face in front of an audience. Oh man, this man is so disrespectful. I swear to God, man, I feel so ashamed of myself for ever shelling out any money for this bullshit in the first place. Listen, they owe us all a refund, you know, just straight up and down. You're talking about Star Wars here, you know, and this is what we're getting. These are the days that we're living in. Like I said before, understand, if not for the work of George Lucas, Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, Carrie Fisher, Anthony Daniels, Kenny Baker, James Earl Jones, all of them, you know, Billy D. Williams, you know, I know I'm forgetting others, Alec Guinness, David Prowse. If not for, what did I mention, the music of John Williams? Did I mention? If not for all these people, you, Rian Johnson, would be a fucking nobody. Nobody would know who you are. As it is, we know who you are now because you're an asshole. That's what you're known for. And you want to just keep on talking and talking and proving even more what an asshole you are. You call Mark Hamill a motherfucker in front of a live audience. I am so done. I've been done. But my God, I'm done just hearing this. And this being the day that they release The Last Jedi for a digital release, I hope that more people hear about this who might have been on the fence, who might have been wanting to give your punk ass a shot, and I hope that more people just say, look, that's the final straw. You know, you disrespect the source material, you disrespect the actors, you disrespect the fans. What is left? What is left? All right, and I want to address one more thing, you know, before I go. Let me get down to the, let me scroll down because there's another part that I wanted to mention. Yes. He referenced a scene in which Luke threatens to burn down the Jedi library, then acts startled and sad. And this is Mark Hamill now. He referenced a scene in which Luke threatens to burn down the Jedi library, then acts startled and sad when Yoda calls his bluff to do it instead. Not only is Luke a broken man, he's certifiably insane. I can play that. So basically what he was saying, I guess I didn't get the other part. What he was saying is that Rian Johnson helped him to get motivated for his role by encouraging the thought that Luke Skywalker was certifiably insane. This cannot be canon, ladies and gentlemen. But I understand, you know, other YouTubers are saying that it's unrealistic to petition Disney to remove The Last Jedi from canon. Okay, if it's unrealistic, it's unrealistic. But listen, they can't have any more of our money, you know, because this is not Star Wars. I don't know what the fuck it is, but it's not Star Wars. And when you disrespect the core actors the way that they have, and when you really think about it, this latest thing, calling Mark Hamill a motherfucker, this is just the latest in a long line of disrespect. And it started with The Force Awakens, unfortunately. It's like, we should have never let them get past having Carrie Fisher, Mark Hamill, and Harrison Ford together and not having them in a scene together. They should have never got past that. Once we saw they weren't doing that, we should have known they weren't going to take this thing seriously. They weren't going to give it the respect that it deserved. You know, and even if it was about the new characters, you still should have done that. You still should have given us that. Now it's lost for all time because Carrie Fisher is gone and they killed off these characters. We never even got to see them smile again. Do you guys realize that? We never even got to see our heroes smile again. They were all miserable. They were all broken. They were all full of regret. This is just wrong on so many different levels. And, okay, so I just wanted to chime in with that. And I wanted to lend my voice to what I think about it. I think it's bullshit. Whatever this documentary is, whenever they release it, they don't deserve to make money off it. Once again, when Solo comes out, fuck it, I'm not doing it, man. They're not getting one red fucking cent of my money, you know, until they fix this shit. Disney's, either they gotta give it up or they gotta fix it, you know, because they're coming across hella disrespectful and we shouldn't be putting up with it as the fans. So, there it is. Just wanted to throw it out there. Now it's time for me to go and let these people bestow upon me all of the birthday wishes that my heart desires. Anyway, I'll check y'all on the next one. This is The Gospel According to Mark with a C. Rock on.